question. There's a wheelchair ramp and a deck. The deck is 90 centimeters high. The angle between the ramp and the ground can't be more than 6 degrees. So we're going to use 6 degrees as the reference point. We have to find the minimum allowable horizontal distance. So we need to find this. Between the start of the ramp and the deck to the nearest tenth. So we round it to 1 decimal place. So first step, we have our triangle. I'll draw it here, 6 degrees. This is 90, and I'm going to call this X. This is 90 centimeters. So we label the triangle. In reference to this angle, is 90 opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Good. Is X the adjacent or the hypotenuse? Right, because this is the right angle, right? So we're working with opposite and adjacent, O and A. I put X here because it's a D and I just wrote it as an X. So this is, they tell you in the question, they want to know the distance from here to here, so I just called that X. From the distance from the start of the ramp, so here, to the deck. This is where the deck is. So to here. Okay, so we're working with opposite and adjacent. Sine ratio is opposite and hypotenuse, so we can't use that. Cosine ratio is adjacent and hypotenuse. We can't use that. So which ratio do we have to use? Tan uses opposite and adjacent. So tan, what's the angle? 6 degrees equals, is the ratio adjacent over opposite or opposite over adjacent? Opposite over adjacent. I'm just going to write it out and we can fill it in. Tan 6 equals, what's the opposite side length? Is it 90 or X? Which one's opposite? So 90 over X. Put this over 1 and we're going to cross multiply. We have to solve this one a little bit differently, so let's do it together. So cross multiply, tan 6 times X. Can I solve that? No? Yes. I don't know what tan 6 times X. I can't multiply it, tan 6 times nothing, it's times an unknown. But I know that it's going to be equal to 1 times 90. What's 1 times 90? 1 times 90. 90. How do I isolate X? What do I have to divide this by to get X by itself? Josh? Pardon? Josh? Yeah, but to get rid of it, I have to divide it. Because the opposite of multiplication is division, so I have to divide it by tan 6, right? Because that's the only way that I can eliminate that. I'm reducing it to 1. If I divide the left side by tan 6, what do I have to do to the right side? Divide it by tan 6. So X is equal to 90. I'll write it out like this for you. Divided by, right? This means divided by tan 6. Please do this on your calculator and tell me what you get. 856.29. So if I want to round it to the nearest tenth, 1 decimal place, you look at the number next to it. If it's greater, if it's 5 or greater, do we round this number up or does it stay the same? We round it up. So X is approximately equal to 856.3. So that's the final answer. And the units we were working with were centimeters. So they've given you the diagram here. I'm going to redraw it, and you can do the same. We have W, X, this is 19 meters, and this is 8.1 meters. We have to figure out, what are they asking us to find? It says, calculate the measure of the angle formed by the wire and the ground. So look here. This is the wire. We have to figure out the angle that is formed by the wire and the ground. So are you finding angle W or angle X? Which one's on the ground? W. That's very important. You need to make sure you're finding the correct angle. So once we've indicated the angle, this angle, we have to now label our triangle in reference to that angle. Is 19 opposite, adjacent, or the hypotenuse? Good. Is 8.1 adjacent or hypotenuse? Yep. Which ratio, sine, cos, or tan, uses opposite and adjacent? Tan, good. So tan, we always follow the ratio by the angle. Do I know the angle? No, so that's what we need to find. So we're going to call it tan W, okay? So we're writing tan W, because that's the unknown, is equal to opposite over adjacent. So let's fill it in. Tan W equals, opposite is what? 19, and adjacent is 8.1. This is the ratio. We're going to turn that into a decimal. We're going to do 19 divided by 8.1. What do you got? So we're going to round it off to 4 decimal places. So tan W equals approximately 2.3457. Did everyone get that rounded to 4 decimal places? But that's not what we're trying to find. We're trying to find angle W. I want to know the angle. We've just figured out the ratio. What is the final step when you try to find an unknown angle? What do you have to do on your calculator? Who remembers? Shift or second. And we're working with the tan ratio, so you have to figure out the order on your calculator. You're punching in the decimal, so the ratio, second, tan, or the other way around. Try it right now. And we're going to round the angle to the nearest degree. Okay, so rounded to the nearest degree. The angle that it forms is approximately 67 degrees, and that's it.